I am here with the Iron Man himself from Iron River, Nick Baumgartner. So good to be here with you.
Pleasure to be here,
How
my
does
man.
it feel to be chasing your 5th Olympics at age 44?
It's crazy to think, man. If you would have told me back at the start when I was training for my first one in 2010, I would have never thought that I'd still be here, still doing it, and still at the level that I'm at.
What motivates you to keep going at this level all these years later? You've been snowboarding for decades now.
Yeah. So at the beginning, it's changed over the years. At the beginning, I had a son when I started my career. And I knew that kids don't listen to their parents, but they're always watching us. So I needed to lead by example and show him that if you're willing to put in the work and outwork everyone, anything is possible. And now as I've gotten older and he's successful in doing what he's doing, he's about to graduate from Michigan State University. Now it's more about not proving people wrong, because as I continue and say that I'm going to go to another one, I get doubters, right? And now it's more about proving what's possible, or redefining what people think is possible. Because everyone's always there to tell you what you can and can't do. You're too old, you're not fast enough, you're not good enough. Well, I'm here to just show you that if you put in the work and you outwork everyone, you can do it.
You were saying the same mantra when you won gold in Beijing in 2022. Yeah. What was going through your head when you had that gold medal on the podium?
Man, I'll tell you what, standing on a podium, I said I've always been a huge fan of the Star Spangled Banner. But when you're standing on the podium next to Canada and Italy, and they're playing our national anthem, it hits a little bit different.
We're sitting here in this really incredible and different kind of gym. I mean that in the best way. How has your training evolved over the course of your professional snowboarding career?
So a lot of the time, because I had a son and I was back here, I had to do everything back home, most of it by myself. And then when I found Advantage 4 years ago, changed everything. All my gains I'm the strongest I've ever been. I'm the fastest I've ever been. All these things, and to think at 44 years old.
What do you feel sets this Olympic apart from the other Olympics? Not only that you've been at, but that you've experienced or that you've seen.
I mean, there's a lot less pressure now, because it was always about getting that medal. It's the one thing that was missing from my mantle. And now we have it. Now I get to go and have fun. And I think when you're just out there having fun, you ride your best, but you also become very dangerous. And even at 44 years old. So look out. The old man's coming.
There's still some pressure though, because you've got a lot of family coming to Italy watching you, wanting you to win the next gold.
Yeah, just when you think there isn't any pressure, my whole family decides that this is the Olympics they want to come to. They didn't go to the other ones, they went to my first one, but then they didn't, and now it's all about they got their flights, they have their accommodations, they have everything, they have their tickets. I haven't punched my ticket yet. But the pressure's good. You got to have a little bit of pressure. I mean, pressure makes diamonds, right? So being able to have that pressure now just gets me ready for game day in Milano Cortina.
Let's talk about training. We're sitting here in your gym. Walk us through a typical training week for Nick Baumgartner.
Yeah, so every Monday and Thursday morning I wake up at 7 a.m. I leave my house at 9 a.m. Central Time. I drive an hour and a half. I cross the time zone into Eastern. I work out at noon. I do an hour workout here at the gym. I immediately eat lunch, go straight to the mountain bike trails, put anywhere from 3 to 5 hours on the mountain bike, and then I go and eat dinner, go to Lake Superior to soak in the cold water, and then I go to my buddy's driveway with my van. I park it in his driveway, and I sleep in my van. Tuesday and Friday morning, I wake up at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Time, work out here at 6 a.m. At 7 a.m., I'm done. I'm already headed home, and it takes me a half hour to get home because I gain an hour on the way. So it works out. It's not the most ideal way, but if I want to be competitive at my age, I need to be here in this gym working out with these kids and these trainers.
How do you keep up that intense training schedule and balance that with recovery?
It's tough. It's tough. So I take a sauna every single night. I'm at home. I'm cold tub. I'm doing all the things, stretching, mobility. It takes absolutely every part of me to be able to keep doing this. At some point, my body's not going to be able to recover fast enough. But we got some tricks and we got some things that help me along the way. Also, it's funny, when I go on the road, we travel with PTs. I have the best PTs in the world. Then I come home and I never had anyone until I started coming here. And now I got Joel at Active Physical Therapy right here at the gym. So I can work out, go right to my PT session, and then right back to business as usual, right to the mountain bike trails. So usually he'll fix me and then I'll go destroy it.
But that's the cycle, right?
It's the cycle.
Break it down, build it back up. It's
Yep.
working for you so far. What's the most challenging part of snowboard cross, both mentally and physically?
I think the toughest part about snowboard cross is how predictably unpredictable it is. you never know what is about to happen. And I think that also is what keeps me competitive at my age. I've done enough heats that I know kind of what's going to happen, and I can kind of predict which levels the playing field against these kids. But it's a brutal sport. I mean, you're out there at 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, highway speeds with nothing but a helmet on your head. I don't wear any protective gear. I know football players wear football pads, hip pads, quad pads. I need my mobility, especially at 44. So I wear absolutely nothing but a helmet.
How do you approach risk and fear? How do you manage that? When you're in the moment, and also just when you're outside of the moment and thinking about what could happen if something goes wrong?
I think that's why you put in so much work, right? You have to put in so much work, so much preparation. It's the same thing that with nerves. The only way to keep nerves at bay is to do the preparation. The only way to not be worried about getting hurt is knowing that you are 100% dialed and you're ready to go. And that comes from what you do outside of your sport. All the preparation leading into the season. I'm so ready by the time I get onto a course, the last thing I'm thinking about is falling and getting hurt.
But also accepting the fact that getting hurt at some point is inevitable.
Yeah, it's part of the game. Getting hurt could happen, but as strong as you are, if you make yourself as strong as possible, I've taken some hits that most people wouldn't walk away from. It's all because of what I do outside of the sport.
I think what makes your story so cool is the community that you've grown up in. How does growing up here in Iron River, how has that shaped you as an athlete and as a person?
The Upper Peninsula, we always say that we're built different up here. We have different work ethic. We have to, no one's up here giving us opportunities, handing things to us. We fight for those opportunities and earn them, or we don't get them. So we have to work a little bit harder, but on that day, when you're at the top of the course at the Olympics, you're more prepared because you had to work harder for it, and you had to fight for it. And then I have a community of people supporting me like no other Olympian. I'm telling you, 70-mile parades when I went to my first Olympics, a 70-mile parade when I came back from my last Olympics, parades everywhere. Everyone is invested in this. On years where I didn't have the money to keep going, businesses stepped up and helped me out. This is the kind of community we have. I always say when people ask me, what is a Youper? I said, we'll give you the shirt off our back, even when it's 40 below zero, which it always is.
After spending 24 hours with you here and watching you interact with the community and watching the community support you, I have seen exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Every neighbor that drives by is honking and saying hello, and then every single person that walks by, there's a story that you have to tell about that person.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when I'm making my pump track, last night our waitress, I had to borrow their snowblower once. It's just all these little things that help me get to where I am. You cannot do this alone, ever. You have to have a support system. Luckily, I've been building mine for 21 years, and it's the best support system you can have. When things don't go well, they're always there to help me get back up. And when things go well, they keep me humble. They're like, all right, don't get too big of a head, get back to work. And I need that.
I think one of the things that I've seen too is how not only are you an athlete competing for yourself and for America and for whatever team you're on, but you're also competing for those other athletes around you who are younger than you. I've really seen you be almost like a coach of sorts, or definitely a mentor to these younger athletes. And you've spoken about that. How does being a mentor, how important to you is being a mentor?
Absolutely. I think with the success I've had and the fun that I've been able to have on my team, it is my responsibility to do that. But I'm not just doing that because it's my responsibility. If I make them faster than me, that's going to push me more than anything. When these kids start beating me, I don't like that. So I go back and I do even more work so that when I come back, that I can beat them and we feed off of each other. And I think that's the only way for a team to be able to rise to the level, to be able to win an Olympics.
You know, back to injuries, you've been severely injured before. How do you come back from an injury, both physically and mentally?
The mental game, it can be tough for some athletes, but for me, it's about putting in that work. If there's PT, you do everything that they tell you to do. You skip nothing. If you do everything you can, and you cut no corners, and you skip no workouts, and then it doesn't work out, you can live with that. But if you cut corners, and then you fall short, you'll regret that the rest of your life, and I'm not trying to live with that.
And we've talked a lot about pain, too, and dealing with pain and continuing on with the hard regimen or the competition, even though you may be dealing with chronic pain.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always pain. I wake up in the morning, it's not like when I was 20 years old. You definitely feel it, and if I told you that, I'd be lying to you. So when I wake up, you just gotta kind of power through it. Get the body moving, know what helps, and And the one thing that I always know is when I get on a course, all that pain goes away. Adrenaline takes over, and it doesn't matter what I'm feeling. Because when I'm on track, there is no pain. I'm back to being 20 years old. And I think that's important. And I think that some of these younger kids struggle with that. They think because they're hurting today, when they get in that gate, it's still going to hurt. They don't understand that adrenaline can take over and you'll be fine.
What I've noticed most about you is your passion and joy for this sport, and it makes sense that at your age, you're still competing at the level that you're competing. You must just love the heck out of this.
You guys, when I come to the bottom of a snowboard cross track and I'm giggling like I'm like 12 years old, that's the kind of hobby and the kind of job you need to find. Something that does that. People say, isn't there other things that you want to do? And I was like, I love what I do. And what I do allows me to use my story to inspire more people to get stories like mine. Small town kids from all over the country to go out there and not believe the excuses, not believe what society tells them, and go get what you want. And the longer I do this, the more people I can help with that. And that's become one of my biggest passions, is using my story outside of sport to inspire more stories like mine.
Well, it's an inspiring one, and your age, of course, is something people love to talk about. The next oldest guy you'll be competing against is what, 27?
27 on my team. The next oldest, I think there's an Italian that's 35, but he will retire this year.
So what's going to happen after 2026? Let's say, whatever, anything could happen, right? Another gold, maybe not, who knows? What's coming up after 2026 for Nick?
As soon as the 2026 season is over, I'm right back here. Right back getting ready for 26, 27, and so on. We're going to keep doing this. As long as I'm competitive and I'm having fun, which go together, I'm going to continue to be here fighting for this and fighting to stay at the highest level.
Do we think another Winter Olympics after 2026?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think that. I'm kind of bummed that they made Salt Lake City 2034 instead of 2030, because it would have been a little bit easier to make, but that's the end goal. Like, if I can stay and I can keep this body going until 2034 and retire after an Olympics on home soil, that'd be the coolest thing ever. Plus, I'd be 52. Most people haven't done the math, but I have.
Oh my goodness, that would be incredible.
That'd be incredible. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I'm going to put in the work, and we're going to see where it goes.
Nick, what do you want your legacy to be as an athlete and as a father and as a man?
I want my legacy to be just that I never quit. I never gave up. It didn't matter how hard it was, how tough it was, what went wrong. He just kept showing up, and he kept doing it. I didn't get my medal until I was 40 years old, my 4th Olympics. If that doesn't tell you, man, there was a lot of failure along that journey. And I just want people to see that failure is part of the process. If you're not willing to fail, man, you're never going to succeed. So I'm out here pushing it and pushing it at a level that most people think is crazy and that it's not possible, but here we are.
Let's go back to that training. Part of the reason you do mountain biking, it's not just for the endurance.
Yeah.
You're preparing. How are you using mountain biking, doing something really terrifying, to help you on the snowboarding, while you're snowboarding?
So it is very difficult for us to find a track, especially in the off season. So we don't have these places to train our sport specifically. So I have to find a way to be able to do that outside of our sport. Mountain biking is the closest thing I can get to replicate what we do on the snow. It trains my eyes to look really far ahead. The further ahead you can look, the faster you can go, which trains my peripheral to read the snow underneath me. And when I'm on a mountain bike, I'm reading the ruts, the rocks with my peripheral, and then I'll ride as close to my friends as I can, because I'm using that they're right there, but I'm eliminating them from my field of view and I'm looking through them, which is continuing to train my eyes. And then when I hit jumps on a mountain bike, it is terrifying. And that keeps me comfortable being uncomfortable. So that when I get back on a track and a pass shows itself and the door opens up, I don't hesitate. I go for it. Because if you hesitate, it's too late. You've missed your opportunity.
What's your message to your son?
My message to my son is always, man, whatever it is you want, outwork everybody. If you're willing to outwork everyone, that is the only way to get it. And if you're not willing to outwork everyone, don't expect to win. Don't expect to get that job. Don't expect to beat the others. If you're not willing to do it, it's not going to happen.
What's your message to America when you're going to be representing our country in 2026?
You guys, we live in the greatest country in the world. And I know right now we have a lot of separation and people fighting. You guys, I've been to 40 countries all over the world. And every time I come home, I'm reminded that this is the best country in the world. I'm proud to be an American, and wearing a flag should never be a bad thing. Man, I love this place, and you should too. And if you don't, get out.
Nick Baumgartner, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.